What's up, guys? Welcome back. Maverick here today with another episode of Bocchi the Rock. So, last episode, we saw Bocchi-chan come out of her shell a little bit and, state her determination to get better, to play within a band, to overcome her anxiety. However, the band as it is still isn't quite complete yet, right? Now, I mean, obviously we can see the opening and whatnot. We already know there's going to be another person join the band, and I do believe this episode is the one which she does eventually join, right? Because, I mean, even if we didn't know what was going to happen, even if I didn't know what was going to happen, these type of anime typically work this way, right? The initial few episodes are them gathering all the band members and then coming together, right? So, yeah, I don't think there's really too much else to add for now. Let's just get into the episode and see who this fourth and final member is. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Goto, the Goto residence. I like how the sisters have the same type of hair, you know. You know, one thing I didn't really mention before and also didn't mention in the last episode is actually Bocchi-chan is, according to the setting anyways, supposedly really cute and has a really nice figure as well. I think the anime kind of toned down those aspects though. No girl. Yeah, according to well, I guess maybe we'll see that in the future. Backwimps. A play on Radwimps. And it's kind of implied, throughout the series that actually, you know, like we could see there as well. They're actually quite open to Vochi striking up a conversation with them. Just overall, it's she is the one who's running away from the others, right? And like I said, like nobody, according to the setting, I mean, we can see it here as well, right? She's supposedly very cute and has a very nice figure. So basically, she's got the looks basically, and so for a lot of other people, like, I mean, this might be a little bit too materialistic or whatever you want to call it, but nobody really rejects a hot girl talking to you, right? Neither girls or guys. And that goes for guys as well, right? If you're good looking, you automatically have an advantage. Oh. There she is. What the Japanese call the upper caste. Yeah, but again, it's kind of implied that Bochi's looks are, you know, if not on par, maybe perhaps even surpassing Kita-chan. But anyways, It's not actually that prominent in the manga either, but I just thought I wanted to point this out because there were a few points that sort of emphasized this already within the manga, like in the opening like few chapters, but we haven't really got to that part yet. So I don't know if they're going to be dropping this entire sort of sub characteristics of her. I don't think they should though, because if anything, I feel like that makes it more funny in a way. You have this really hot girl who's also insanely talented at guitar, but she's a complete loner because she's completely introverted. I feel like the gap would be even larger there. And the more I listen to this, the more I enjoy the guitar parts to this. This girl. we we went full cartoon there for a while. It's just definitely what we would call a chuny. Ooh. Guitar. uh, in this day and age, though, it's not really that hard to find learning materials. Like I'm mostly self-taught as well. You can go for textbooks, you can go for YouTube. I mean, obviously, there's still definitely value in playing with others and playing with a mentor or tutor, right? But I'm just saying, in this day and age, there's a lot of people who are self-taught instead. Heck, even in the old days, right? If you listen to a lot of the old, old school guitarists and whatnot, they basically learned it by recording songs on the radio and playing back to it, essentially. The foreshadowing. Oh, Nielsen pie. Monster energy. And once again, Buster Child's like, my identity! Perfect. Yeah, some people are just naturally fit for jobs like this, right? This girl. Real peace. Yeah, and anyways, as I was saying before, yeah, there's a some people are just naturally suited for these. Extroverted people get energy, gain energy from interacting with others, right? Whoa, a more electro-inspired sound here. Well, at least for bands that are taking it seriously, anyways. What? I don't quite remember this. Now she might feel more safe under a cloak. Let's go. But yeah, in honesty though, like you can kind of see like the kind of band that they actually do want to build here. It kind of like goes also into the actual naming of Kesoku Band, which, to be honest, we never like even in the manga we haven't really gotten the full backstory. backstory to yet. But just from the naming of the band, you can kind of get the idea of what kind of band they want to build. Honestly, though, I don't understand like how she could have made that. How she could have made that that kind of a that kind of a misunderstanding. Like you literally go into a guitar shop and you ask them, "Can I have a guitar?" Right? I mean, she doesn't have anything better to do, anyways. The infamous F chord for all beginners. Oh, they're actually nice. I like that part back there. Again, this is only something that you can do in an anime setting with sound, right? Where they show Kita-chan playing a few notes, but or actually, you didn't really show, but we heard her playing a few notes where she kind of messed up on her fingering, she kind of messed up on her timings and whatnot. Gradually, kind of, sort of getting into the groove. I like that. It adds a degree of realism to all of this, right? All right. Anyways, we've seen the animation for this, and we heard this as well. So I will see you guys after this. Alright guys, so that was episode 3 of Bocchi the Rock, and we have our full lineup of members with the newest addition of Kita-chan. Her name is actually also a little bit of an Easter egg in itself, something of a joke, but I'm not gonna spoil that for you guys. We'll get there probably sometime within this season as well. But in any case, so yeah, we have this newest member here. She's going to be the vocal slash guitarist here, and it's kind of interesting in a lot of ways when you think about this, alright? This is kind of like jumping out beyond the episode, if you know, kind of more like a meta discussion. But if you guys recall, like I keep on bringing up some common or very iconic music work as well, right? Like K-On, like Bandori, like Show by Rock. I mean, I'm sure there's many others, but to me, anyways, these are the three that I am personally most experienced with when it comes to this topic of all girl bands, all female bands. And typically, the protagonist is supposed to be one who is who is the least experienced, right? Who has the least amount of ability, but maybe she has some innate talent here. And not to mention, a lot of times they also want the main character to be the vocalist as well, because hey, people like to see a front man, front woman who's actually going off and I mean, no matter what way you put it, the singer is is going to be the focal point of a band, right? No matter what. So it generally makes sense to make the main character the one who is going to be the vocalist, and also be the one who's starting out with very limited with very limited skills in terms of playing the guitar. But that role here is actually being done by Kita-chan, and Bocchi-chan instead, she is the one who's supposedly the senpai, if you will. Of course, they kind of nerfed her abilities due to her introversion, but I just thought it was a pretty interesting dynamic, and not really something you see a lot in terms of, you know, this kind of storyline, right? Because typically you want the main character to start out with less skills, because, you know, that makes it more, you know, it's the classic shonen type of formula, right? You gotta power up, you gotta level up, and you know, through trials and tribulations, gradually grow your skills, hone your skills until you, like, it's the same with sports, it's the same with battle anime, it's the same with these kinds of music anime as well. They generally follow this progression of, you know, getting better and better, and then going on to larger and larger stages instead, as well, I should say. But, I mean, it still kind of works here for Bocchi because, like I said, she's nerfed, so because of her introversion, so she also needs to gradually unlock her talents and unlock her abilities, if you will. But I just thought it was an interesting take on the entire situation here, and adding Kita-chan definitely adds a whole new dynamic to everything here. And the rest, I guess, not really too much else to add. I mean, we saw her briefly back in episode 1 as well, and the way that they were sort of building up the storyline into her being the one who was runaway guitarist. You know, even when I looked at it in the manga for the first time, I thought it was kind of funny. I mean, it was kind of obvious once she mentioned that, hey, she formerly was in her band as well and didn't really have a great experience or something of that sort. So from that point on, it was kind of obvious that was the sort of like tie-in they're going with. But I mean, it still works, right? And it's still funny. One thing I do appreciate about the series is that they don't go like overtly dramatic. I mean, obviously we have Bocchi who's over dramatizing everything, right? But that's just part of a sort of like a quirk and a sort of a gimmick, if you will. You know, one of the key things or things about her. Whereas, you know, a lot of this, there's really very little conflict, let me put it this way, within this series, which is a good thing, a bad thing, you know. And conflict, I don't necessarily mean between members, but I mean the overall drama aspect of everything. Like, even here, you know, this situation was resolved relatively smoothly, right? Relatively plainly. Some would say that maybe it's a little bit too smooth and too plain, but I mean, at the end of the day, they are just a bunch of girls in high school trying to form a high school band, right? And at this point in time, we're not really looking at any professional aspirations, or you know, they themselves think of themselves as mediocre, right? Which is, I mean, we really haven't, like I said in the episode, we haven't really got into the whole aspect of why this band was formed in the first place, why Kesoku Band, right? What is there a specific meaning? Why did they choose this? But I think even without all of that, you can kind of get the idea that they basically want to form a band where they like each other, right? Where they can vibe with and gel with each other, which is to them much more important than just playing ability, if you will. And I mean, there are definitely different philosophies on how you should go about this, and this has been argued time and time again in terms of not only like sports teams or heck in you know, when you're out doing when you're out in the real world doing business and whatnot, like the company culture that you want to build, right? The sports team culture that you want to build, and heck, the band culture as well. There have been many advocates for both sides of the coin, right? Some say, hey, you don't need to really like each other in order to be a great band, as long as you can show your professionalism and your musical talent, right? And there are many great bands throughout history whose members didn't really quite gel with each other, right? And on the other hand, you also have this sort of I guess sort of like idealized kind of setting here where if all the members do gel with each other and they are a close-knit unit, they would push themselves, and with the right attitude anyways, they would push themselves into greater heights, right? And playing together with friends, playing together with people who you almost think of as your family, you don't want to let them down, and so you push yourself harder to reach greater heights, right? And there's definitely, I feel like this latter portion is definitely more of an idealized and more romantic view of things, but when it does work out, we love it, right? We love it. And a lot of I think, not to get into generalizations or anything, but I do feel like, especially in terms of the Japanese female band scene, this is kind of emphasized, right? The members themselves, not really looking at you just purely for your musical talent, but instead, how do you gain this sort of camaraderie between all the members, and we have the same goal, we want to reach that goal, and we are willing to push each other to reach that goal as well. I think it generally, like, that's maybe part of the reason why I also love these female Japanese bands so much. There's really little ego, and more so this kind of sense of bonding and like I said, sense of camaraderie, right? Which really ties into, I feel, what they are trying to do here, and how they want to structure their band instead. But in any case, just a little bit of observation, if you will, on this, and we will, yeah. I mean, obviously, we will be getting into more and more situations later where we are shown the dynamic between the band members and their personalities and whatnot. I don't know how much we're actually going to. I assume this is going to be like a 12-episode season, right? So in which case, I actually have no idea what is going to be the end result for this, but oh well, I'm not gonna spoil anything, so we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I guess one final thing here. Let's see, what did I not talk about during the episode already? I mean, obviously, the sort of contrast between Kita and Bocchi. I mean, this is very much deliberate, and it's fun. It's funny seeing Bocchi-chan freak out so much over Kita-chan's presence and whatnot. But I actually do like their dynamic going forward as well. It's quite. I personally find it very endearing. So again, no spoilers, but we'll see more of them two interacting with each other in the future. What else here? I guess I want to mention one thing, and this is specific to the episode. A little bit of, I guess you could say, a little bit of a criticism and also a little bit of praise, right? So I do, like I've said before, I've always loved these kinds of music animes when they go into the entire process. Like myself as a guitarist as well and a bassist, I went through this kind of stuff, right? So I love when they really bring these real life things and portray them accurately within the anime, right? Including, for instance, the ending scene here with Kita struggling to learn the chord, struggling to actually start playing, and especially struggling with the F chord, right? To be honest, I feel like it's kind of a meme at this point, but regardless, I do, it's not just this, right? But it's also the other sort of references, like having to buy an instrument really causes you, especially if you're a student, it causes a huge burden of you, and if you're a student with allowance, it's probably going to eat for allowance a lot, right? And things of that nature, buying gear, actually, how to actually start playing, and the gear stuff and whatnot. I love these kinds of stuff in music anime, so I'm all for it, right? And like I said, at the end, it was a nice touch to have Kita and Bocchi playing together, and also listening to what was going on in the background with the guitars. You listen to Kita sort of kind of messing up as well, and gradually getting smoother and smoother with her playing, whereas Bocchi is kind of like just playing some background stuff, and allowing Kita to play along. The one criticism that I will give to this, though, is, I guess, I mean, I can understand what they're coming from, probably budget issues, but they are really quite conservative in terms of trying to animate the actual playing, right? If you guys notice up to this point, all 3 episodes, they've been generally shying away from showing the showing the girls actually playing their instruments, right? Because they're not really animating it to a certain degree of quality, which where you can look at it and say, oh yeah, she's actually playing the correct thing, and that is actually playing in rhythm and time and whatnot. That takes a lot of effort, so I can kind of understand for a relatively small series or relatively restricted budget kind of series, they're not really going to go full out for that. And like maybe they can surprise me in the future, like once we get into one of the serious performances, maybe they will show that a little bit more. But even in this episode, toward the end there, we can see that the animation did not match up with the music at all. Like in the end, when Rio came in and to check on them as well, you could hear the background music still playing, whereas the girls, if you see them in the animation, they've clearly stopped moving their hands already, right? So it's little stuff like that. I mean, it's not really all that important in the grand scheme of things, but I think, especially for me anyways, in music anime, I love to notice little details like this. So it was kind of a bummer, but like I said, I understand why they do have some budget constraints, and this isn't exactly the most popular series, but I just hope that we have a pretty decent animation in the future when we actually get to a real serious performance. And speaking of which, I actually don't even know if there's going to be a serious performance, right? Because again, adapting from a manga sort of medium, even if you show them actually playing something that's really important, you don't know because it's literally a book, right? You can't really know if they are actually going to play a full song or whatnot. But now that they are in an animation medium, they can choose to write out the full song and also have the accompanying animation to go with it, right? So I am definitely looking forward to that. I feel like they are going to take this seriously. You know, they got a nice musical group, No Name, and they've been playing a lot of impromptu sort of songs here and there, and so I have faith that they will probably do the scenes justice. Anyways, I feel like I've been rambling on a little bit too much now for really an introductory episode. So that's it for now. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.